Well, Paul, in the current moment, if you want to make somebody nervous, just walk into a room and cough or sneeze. It is allergy season after all, and that could happen, but maybe there are better ways to deal with all that and make yourself feel better and put everybody else around you at ease. That's what we're talking about this morning on Health Matters with Paul Rosen.
Yes,
Yes, we are, as a matter of fact. It is indeed allergy season, but
it is.
during this pandemic, I mean, people get very nervous when another person in the room or anywhere has that natural response of coughing or sneezing. I've seen it happen. I've seen somebody walk into, say, an enclosed area like a coffee shop where you can now. Those are open a little bit these days. And, they just have a reaction and they let loose a cough and everybody shirks away. So maybe that's all the more
That's called
reason.
paranoia.
Oh, it is
Not
that.
called
It is
that.
that.
That's not called allergies.
Well,
I
but
mean,
it's a very real thing though. So I mean, I'm just
yeah,
adding that. I'm just
wear
proposing
a
that as
mask.
well, I'm proposing that as all the more reason to be watching out for yourself and watching out for others. And if you have allergic reactions, maybe now is a good time to start dealing with that.
Seasonal allergies. Do you struggle every year despite allergy shots, antihistamines, and inhalers? Want to get off that merry-go-round? There is a safer, more effective approach. I chose the seasonal allergies right now because I had a number of inquiries about that. So I thought, okay, let's just do that show. And I want to take a little bit of a deeper dive into what is an allergy and what is a sensitivity so that people can, have a little bit better of an understanding. And then I'm going to dispel a myth, a big myth in this process. So
Hmm.
stay tuned. Also, if you do have any questions about anything about health or alternative methods of healing, uh, please email me at gethealthy@acunatural, that's acunatural.com. Gethealthy@acunatural.com, and I will be happy to answer those questions in the following week. Unfortunately, we aren't doing live, which is a drag because I like to take calls, and it's for me it's a lot of fun. But we're constrained right now. We can't get into the radio studio, so next best thing, Zoom, Zoom.
There you go. We work with what we have. Get healthy at acunatural.com. Get healthy at acunatural.com. Any health question is fair game. Well, Paul, you put the subject on the table, so let's start at the beginning. What exactly is an allergy?
An allergy? Well, there are actually allergies and sensitivities, both of which have to do with the immune system. So let's sort of get just a tiny bit technical. Your immune system has what is called an adaptive mechanism and an innate mechanism. The adaptive mechanism is what most of you are familiar with. That's where you get a cold and you develop an immunity to it. Your body reacts. And I'm not going to get into any of the details of that, but your body basically builds antibodies reacting to this foreign presence, and then you develop most of the time develop lifelong immunity to it. Contrast that with vaccinations, by the way, where it is very well known that vaccinations do not provide lifelong immunity uh, to the same type of pathogens. So that is why it's necessary, if you are a pro-vaccination and you are uh, inclined to get those, you need to continue to get them.
Yeah, I think that's well known, Paul, that viruses, let's say the cold virus, for example, or the flu virus, they tend to mutate. So the vaccine that worked last year won't necessarily work this year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's something to be aware of. And I happen to be in the pro-vaccine camp. I think if there are things you can do to make yourself more resistant, you should do that. I know you're down on the flu virus vaccines. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's not, honestly, being pro-vaccination or against vaccination is overly simplistic, because vaccinations are products, and products have potential liabilities. And the problem with vaccinations are that there's very little recourse for someone who's injured by a vaccination. And so the question is do the benefits outweigh the potential risks? And that's something that each individual should be able to decide for themselves.
Fair enough. So then we have the innate brand of allergy. Is that
Then
right?
there's the innate. It's not brand.
Yeah, I sound like marketing 101, don't I?
Yeah,
It's
you
the
do.
brand. So
Yeah.
it's not that, but it
No,
is
it has
something,
nothing to do with marketing.
something we should be aware of.
Yeah, nothing to do with marketing. So the innate part of the immune system comes from our parents, and we inherit the factors that provide us with the innate part of the immune system. And allergies themselves are essentially where an individual has a life-threatening or very severe reaction to a foreign something. Peanuts are probably well known. Peanut allergy can result in a life-threatening anaphylactic shock. And there are shellfish, of course, is a very common allergy.
So are all these
And then
necessarily, I'm sorry, Paul, not to interrupt, but are these necessarily due to our DNA, as you just indicated, or can we develop allergies at various points in our lives?
You can develop allergies to various points in your life.
So I could be
So there is a crossover.
Okay, so I could be cruising along right now thinking I'm just fine. I don't have a peanut allergy, but maybe that could develop at a certain point.
So the mechanism by which your immune system interacts with the environment is basically separated into the adaptive and innate. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So those are the
So
two
one
types
of
of
them,
allergies.
the adaptive mechanism is the one where we get exposed to a pathogen, and our body develops an immunity to that pathogen, assuming we survive. The innate is that mechanism of your immune system, which is dictated by the inherited genetic complex that we get from our parents. Now, having said that, the immune system itself and how it functions is very much more complex. But those two ideas will help you somewhat. So the innate part of the immune system is often triggered where sensitivities are the issue. So if someone says, I have a food sensitivity versus a food allergy. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
But having said all that, at the end of the day, it's still a person has to deal with it, and the symptoms can be anywhere from mild to severe. What types of symptoms do people experience when they say they have allergies? Well, sinus congestion and drainage is a common one. Itchy eyes, runny eyes are common. Headaches are common. Neck and shoulder pain, or at least scrunchiness, are common.
Scrunchiness? Is that a medical term?
Yeah. It's you just kind of feel scrunchy.
Yeah, it happens every now and then. I wake up
Yeah.
in a scrunchy mood.
Yeah.
And just try to avoid everybody for a while.
We're not. Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right.
And so they can be quite bothersome. And anybody who experiences these things on a yearly basis knows exactly what I mean. So there are several ways to handle them. One of them is to utilize various types of medications. And the medications are basically not very exciting. That is to say, they only protect, or they just help manage. There is no protection. They just help manage, right?
Well, I understand that. So they're not a cure. Can we define those as a treatment?
Well, treatment, a management treatment, not a curative treatment. And the two are very different.
Well, sure. And I think that's self-defining. I mean, management treatment means you're just kind of temporarily maybe dealing with some of those symptoms with the medication. Is that fair to say?
You actually had two different ideas in there.
Well,
So,
management or curative, those are the terms you used. And
yes,
curative is self-defining. I mean, if you're going to cure something, it goes away. Management just means, in my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, managing the symptoms.
correct.
There you go. That's where I was
That is
going with that
correct.
thought.
So, the common drug treatments are antihistamines, things like Benadryl or Allermax or Nitol, Singulair, these types of things. And of course, the ever-present anti-inflammatories like Tylenol and Advil, and analgesics like aspirin. Um, and really, these are all in order of severity the side effects become more and more severe. Corticosteroids like Nasonex and Flonase, and then of course for body pain all the way to OxyContin. And we're not going to get in this discussion about narcotics. But all of these medications are sort of in an order of their potency, if you will. And they all have, of course, if your digestion is disturbed by these allergies, then you've got things like antacids, Prilosec and Zantac. And then, of course, some people are very sensitive and they have an emotional reaction, experiencing ups and downs, Zoloft, Paxil, Ambien. I'm not going to go into the side effects of all of these, but in general, the risks include experiencing the side effects can be the very same symptoms that the seasonal allergy results in. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is interesting. So, in effect, trying to treat something, you may, in fact, be making it worse. Is that fair to say?
Worse, or you actually can start, your body can start getting confused, and you can get confused, and you don't know whether the symptom that you're experiencing is actually the symptom of the reaction to the sensitivity or to the medication itself.
So, I'm guessing there's a snowball rolling downhill effect that makes it so that in order to deal with those things, you take more medication. Maybe, your medication is making it worse, but you don't know that. You just think you need more medication to fix
Exactly
the
right.
additional problems that you're having.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you don't know when you're utilizing the medication whether you're actually suppressing the symptoms of the side effects or suppressing the symptoms of the your body's reaction to the environment. And then, of course, you got your typical potential liver or kidney failure with the Tylenol and Advil, addiction with the OxyContin, the suppression of your digestive system with the antacids, adrenal suppression, weight gain, body pain, and of course an adverse effect on affection, an adverse effect on your immune system with the prednisone, and then, oh my gosh, let's get into the mental emotional hazards of antidepressants. The list is
Well,
long.
yeah, it sounds pretty awful. So it's safe to say that taking medications can cause all kinds of problems that you don't anticipate. Get healthy at acunatural.com. Get healthy at acunatural.com. You can write there anytime, 24/7, to ask Paul Rosen about your health issues. And on Health Matters with Paul Rosen today, we're discussing seasonal allergies. So medications, to me, Paul, don't sound like a very good option given all these problems.
This is the picture we paint with the medications. Now, having said that, if there was no alternative approach, then, what else do we got? But it turns out there is an alternative approach that offers essentially no side effects whatsoever. Now, so everything I talked about as far as side effects of any medication, you can avoid, you can skip, period. But you do have to change your lifestyle. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that does, on the surface of it, sound like a pretty tall order. When you say change your lifestyle, what do you mean?
What I mean is that you really need to change the types of foods you're eating. And then you also have to know with the highest degree of certainty what your body is responding to with specificity and how to match the vitamin, herb, homeopathic uh, formula of whatever to your personal specific situation. This is
Okay.
the key. This is the key to success. And I have worked with people to help them eliminate their seasonal allergies, at least with respect to having to utilize medications of any sort, for the past 27 years. Been very successful at it. Nutrition response testing gives me the tools by which I can identify your personal uniquenesses. And without knowing those uniquenesses, then any attempt to treat will be a shot in the dark, which is what a lot of people experience. And most people who have allergies can't even imagine not taking medications because they've been doing it for so many years. But the truth of the matter is, right, you just don't have the missing pieces that are required to get that done. But you have to be willing to change your diet, and you have to be willing to be consistent about following a personalized nutritional healing program. But oh my gosh, the results are astounding.
So why is right now allergy season, Paul? Why during the summer do we seem to be more susceptible to sneezing and all the other symptoms of allergies?
Well, if you listen to our medical brethren, and you listen to most alternative practitioners, and if you listen to the news, and if you read articles and read content there, you would be led to believe that the cause is a immune system reaction to pollen. But nothing could be further from the truth for the overwhelming majority of individuals.
Why have we bought into this big myth about pollen that we've come to believe for decades, if not longer, that that's the main cause of allergies?
Well, primarily because, like everything, if you repeat it often enough, nobody bothers to look behind the curtain. It's the old Wizard of Oz situation.
So what about those people who say, well, during summer, because of my allergies, I have to be careful about where I go? Is there any truth to that at all?
Totally. And it's interesting to note that the allergy reaction tracks what I'm about to reveal as the major cause of people's seasonal allergies. It literally tracks from the spring through the summer into the fall.
So people aren't being paranoid when they say that, when they
Not
say
at
that
all.
there's a certain time of year when my allergies act up, so I have to be careful where I go. But it's not pollen, you say. It's something else in the environment.
Indeed. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Where are the drums?
I forgot my drums today. Sorry. You should have said. I could have
Right.
I could have had the drum roll ready to go.
Well, I can't predetermine everything.
Well,
I mean, I can
neither
prepare.
can I.
I'm a preparation freak, but
Yeah,
come on, man.
I've been concentrating on the oboe recently anyway, but I do
Okay,
have
well, where's the oboe then?
I do have the drums ready to go. Oh, I'm not oboe prepared. It's in the case right now.
Oh, I see.
But okay, let's assume there's a drum roll here. Dramatic moment.
Yeah.
What is the true cause of allergies?
The true cause of allergies is chemicals. It's a reaction to agricultural chemicals. It's a reaction to industrial chemicals. It's a reaction to tailpipe chemicals. And when you think about it, the agricultural chemicals essentially begin when?
during spring and summer and during
Exactly. And they're
the
utilized, heavily in the spring and heavily in the fall, or at least heavily during harvesting. Because the absolute ridiculous, crazy situation that we've got is farmers who utilize synthetic pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. They will use, for example, Roundup, spray it on the crop before it's harvested because it desiccates the crop, and they get a higher production. Isn't that weird?
It is weird, but bottom line for us, it means that there are all these additional chemicals in the air, and that is on top of the usual environmental problems, such as pollution from automobiles and so on and so forth. Is that right?
Right. Now, before somebody in the listening audience out there jumps all over me, I am certain that there are people who do have sensitivities to pollen. I'm certain of that, except I've never seen one, and I've been in practice for 27 years. And you would think that out of the thousands of people that I've seen, somebody who has allergies would, at its root cause, be pollen. But I've never seen it, and I've been highly successful at getting people off of all of their medications and, eliminate their migraines and headaches, eliminate their sinus congestion and runny eyes, and eliminate their sore throat, and eliminate their digestive problems. And I'm only making this claim because that's what I've actually personally experienced, and it shocked me. Actually, it shocked me to learn, me personally, because I was taught that seasonal allergies were the result of pollen. But I personally have never seen it. So what are you going to do?
So that's the big myth you mentioned at the top of the program.
That's the myth.
Pollen causes allergies. Not true.
Correct.
So here's the paradox in my mind. It's a beautiful day as we record this, Paul. I can see out my window. There's nothing but blue sky and sun. And now is the time, even if we have to wear a mask outside, that people want to be outside. However, if you're having this allergic reaction or a series of reactions to your environment, you can't do that. You can't go out and enjoy yourself. So what can we do? What can those people do to ensure that they can go outside and maybe enjoy the summer a little bit more than they would have in the past?
Well, for those folks who want to get off the medications that they're on and actually treat the root cause of their condition. I mean, gee, what a setup, Rod. That's
what I do. That's what I do, Paul. I just line them up so you can.
And believe me, folks, I pay him for that. I pay him for that. So,
he does pay me, not exorbitantly, but there is pay involved.
No. Totally reasonably. But yeah, no, come see me. I mean, find out what your unique characteristics, your unique condition that has to be addressed in order to put forth a successful strategy. That's really what has to happen, unless you just want to keep guessing. And of course, I hate to see people suffer, but some people are just bent on suffering. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. I think allergies are common enough that almost all of us have somebody in our family or our social circle who is a sufferer. My brother suffered from allergies for years, my older brother. So I'm sure he would have liked some solutions like this, as opposed to whatever he was taking out of a bottle, trying to make himself better.
To get these dramatically good results, you have to be willing to make changes, as I said, in your lifestyle, and you've got to be ready, willing, and able to get that done. However, there's a real pot of gold at the end of that rainbow.